What's up? I'm your instructor, Eric Kirk, and welcome to class. As you know, I've had to split up the class into two groups. So for the group that doesn't come in, I'll be making videos like this that will fill you in on what we did in class. That way we will all be moving forward at the same pace. So if you are group A, then you will be watching these videos on Thursday. And if you are in group B, you'll be watching these videos on Tuesday. Make sense? I hope so. Let me know if you have any questions. As you know, we will be meeting in the Mars lab across from the library next to the elevator. There is no food and no drink here. So if you are drinking in the Mars lab, stop it. And if you are eating in the Mars lab, get out. We have access to the Mars lab. Every single one of you do by way of your student ID. You should be able to swipe and get in, but double check that your card works because sometimes it won't. Sometimes it's not activated. So if that's the case, you just need to go to public safety, let them know you're in this class, they'll look you up, and they should be able to activate it for you. You are free to use the Mars lab whenever classes aren't in session here. And I believe there's a schedule outside the door that will tell you when classes are scheduled. So you can plan ahead. The lab closes at 11 p.m. and has an 8-person limit due to the new COVID-19 precautions. So if it's full, you'll just have to come back when somebody leaves. It's kind of a first come, first serve basis. The college is requiring that we all disinfect our area before and after use, including the desk, computer, keyboard, and mouse, and chair. Monk wipes are available for use in all classrooms, as are gloves and paper towels. And it sounds like you were provided with some protective eyewear in your welcome kits, so feel free to bring those in if you so wish. The MARS, M-A-R-S, stands for Media Arts Research Studio. And all that really means is it's our main Mac lab on campus. It's full of iMacs, beefy machines that can handle large design software, particularly Adobe Creative Cloud programs, which in order to use, you need to activate your Adobe account. All students should have received their account activation email from Adobe last Friday. So look in your NVU email if you don't recall getting that email. See if it came in. Your Adobe ID will be your username at nvu.vsc.edu, and that's what you'll log in with. That's how you'll activate it. Once you do it once, you shouldn't have to do it again. But go into your email, find that activation email from Adobe, follow the instructions, and you should be good to go. If you can't find that email, let me know as soon as possible, and I will let IT know, and they'll hook you up. All right, so the next thing is the art server. The art server is kind of where this class lives. So in order to connect to a server, you need to go to Go, Connect to Server. And this little window pops up. You're going to type in this address, smb://nvu/files/nvu-j-academic. It's a mouthful, but once you have it typed in, it should remember it. You can also add it to your favorite servers here, so you don't have to type that in every single time. You're just going to hit connect. It's going to connect and bring up a window that looks kind of like this. Ta-da! And basically, depending on what class you're in, you're going to be looking for either IDM Fall 20 or Advanced Digital Video Fall 20. These are the two courses I'm teaching this semester. Everything else you can ignore. It's either old or somebody else's class, which you may also be in. But for me, these are just the two folders you need to pay attention to. And those are the ones with the red dots. So they're both set up. The folder structure is basically the same. In the assignments folder is where you're going to hand in all major assignments. in the class folder, you're going to create your own folder. Right here, I've created my folder. You're going to create your own, and you're going to put your name on it, and that's where you can save all your work. And you can be rest assured that it's backed up, it's on a server, it's not on just the machine you're sitting in front of. You can access these files from any computer in the Mars lab. That way, if somebody is sitting where you normally sit when you come in at 10 o'clock at night, you can just go to a different one and still be able to access your files. And you're going to save your work in your folder, and that's where you can manage all of your homework. The next folder is the demos files. These are the project files for all the demos we're going to be doing in class. The next one is lecture notes. Sometimes I give little teachings, little previews into the programs and demos we're doing. Just give you a basic understanding. That way you're just a little more prepared before we dive into a specific concept. And they're just there for your reference if you want to go back and study it. And then we have another folder for quizzes, and this is where you'll be handing in your quizzes. I also have a copy of the syllabus for your reference should you need it. That's also on Canvas too. So that's kind of the folder setup. We will also be interacting with one another on Zoom as well in class for critiques. So these critique sessions are required, and I will host them during our class period. So I'll give you plenty of notice as well so that you can plan for that. Okay, so this is Adobe Premiere. I've opened up an existing project I've been working on. May look a little familiar to you. And basically what I did was I went to the Adobe Premiere icon in the dock, clicked on it, and this project was already open. So what I'd like to do is just kind of give you a quick tour of the interface and kind of give you a feel for what we'll be diving into next class. And I guess to kind of just show you around, we have 4 windows here. We have this window, which is the source monitor. The second window here is the program monitor. Then we have the project folder, which is where all of our footage and audio is stored. And then we have the timeline, which is where we do all of our editing. Then we have another little a little box here, which is all of our tools that attach themselves to the actual cursor, where we can, we have an arrow, we can click and move things around. We have like a razor tool to make cuts in our edits, and all that stuff. But for each window has its own specific purpose. So what we have here is a playhead that we can navigate through our timeline, and it reflects itself visually up in the program monitor. So wherever I drag my playhead, I can see what's happening, right? So I can just scrub through the whole thing and kind of navigate where I am in the video. We have the play settings, so I can just click play and it will play automatically. I've turned the sound off for the purpose of this demonstration. So and so what you're seeing here is just a series of video layers. So it's a lot like Photoshop in the sense that you're dealing with video layers, V1, V2, V3, and so on. It'll go on for eternity. You can add as many layers as you want. But each one of these little bricks is a video clip or a graphic. And below the video layers is the audio layers. So you kind of have this little bar in between separating them. We have A1, A2, A3, and so on. And again, you can add as many as you want. And that's what we're seeing down here. So audio lives on the bottom and video lives on the top. And then we see the final cut, the edits we made happen within the program monitor. The difference between the program monitor and the source monitor is that we review our our raw uncut footage in the source monitor. And you can tell this is how the video was originally shot, and you can see how much more orange it is. You get less of the blue light that's on this side of me than what we're seeing in the final color corrected version. So this is basically a preview of the raw footage. So if I double click on this footage, you can see it from another video, and you can just scrub through there, or you can click the video itself and drag it into the timeline and see it here. Okay. We have a series of tools. The selection tool, which allows you to select things. You can click and drag them around. You can hit delete on your keyboard and delete different things. So there's, it just helps you control different clips around the timeline. Then we have another basic tool, which is the razor tool, which allows you to slice up different sections of video. So I could delete this, and basically wherever there is a gap in your footage, it displays as black, so it goes away. So I just cut a hole in my video here. All right. So I'm just hitting undo because I don't want to totally mess it up. And down here we have the audio, and we can stretch the audio to see more of it just by clicking and dragging those layers and making them larger. We can also zoom in and out of the timeline. Right now I see the video from start to finish, but if I want to zero in on, say, like the intro here, I can grab the handles of the scroll bar and actually zoom in on those video clips, and all of a sudden I'm able to really zero in on each frame. So it just helps me make a much more precise cut. It's kind of like taking a magnifying glass to the footage, so you can get up real close and make sure you're cutting it right where you want to. The timeline is based on minutes and frames. So when we see the timestamp here, it's reflecting wherever the playhead is. So right now I'm 11 seconds into the video. Seconds are found here. The last two numbers, or I guess they're the first two numbers, are frames, counted in frames. So this was shot in 24 frames per second. So if I go, you see 23 right here, you see 23, and then 24 brings me back to 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 13 seconds and 6 frames long. And it's 24 frames per second. So once I get up to 23, 24, and it resets to the next second, 14. So 13 seconds and 23 frames, 14 seconds and 0 frames. 0 counts as the 24th frame. Okay. And without diving too far in, that's kind of an overview. This is the most basic layout and the first interface structure we'll be working in. It's called the editing workspace. We know that because the editing workspace is selected here. You can click any one of these, and you can even customize your own layout for your interface. So I can, like, if I click on color, this is what Adobe recommends for color grading. All of a sudden we have a new window over here that allows us to adjust the temperature, tint, exposure, contrast, and so forth. It just brings these settings to the front so that it makes color correction, the color correction workflow, that much simpler. We're then going to jump into effects, and all of a sudden we can access our effects. Hey there, no problem. And then we can access our effects panel. And then if we jump into the audio, all of a sudden we're seeing the different channels up front. and we can adjust those as we need. And if we click on our graphics, we all of a sudden have a graphics panel to choose from. This is where I grab all of my titles here, and I can customize those. So that's, I come into the graphics workspace when I am ready to edit the graphics portion of my video, and then so on. There are other workspaces here, but the one we're going to focus on most is the editing one, because this is where we're going to spend a lot of time just slicing and dicing all the video footage we have to work with. So that's a real quick tour of Adobe Premiere, and just kind of a few different rooms, I guess you could call them, these different panels, what they are for briefly, and next class we'll be able to get in there ourselves and start playing around with some footage. So I will see you in the next video.